Next week is Rosh Chodesh, which that's part of why I thought that was a good idea to do our announcing today. We're going to study that in a few minutes and a little bit. And if you go to shul tomorrow, you'll hear it also announced tomorrow the new month. Does anybody know what month it is?
Adar.
Adar, right?
Adar 2.
Exactly right. Adar 2. So that means that the next P holiday is the next first one is Purim, and then the other one right after that is coming not that long away from now. So next week we will start with Pesach, and I will send something about the page numbers based on the Maxwell Haggadah. Obviously, you can have whatever Haggadah you want as well. We have many Haggadot. We can take a couple of minutes each week if we want to just discuss any special Haggadah that you have that you might want to recommend, or something special that's in your Haggadah that you might want to recommend. We can take just a couple of minutes to do that. So anyway, so now we are going to go to the Kiddush for daytime. That's you'll do it. Many shuls do it. Yes, in shul, and you should also do it where you're having lunch if you don't have lunch in shul. Celia, do you have a question? No.
I want to read.
Oh, Celia wants to read. Okay, so I'm going to put you first. Okay, so everybody have the page. If not, I can give you the pages. It's 315 in the Slim Shalom, 77 in the Lev Shalom, and 747 in the Sim Shalom, the full one. Okay, everybody there?
Judi, I have a question. I've got something called Likrat Shabbat. Is it the regular Kiddush? What should I look for?
Yeah. The problem is, I think Likrat Shabbat is only Friday night. No, is it Friday? I know that we used to use it in the shul on Friday night.
That's all I have. Is it the regular Kiddush that we will do, or the longer one?
Well, there's two. It's just not just the bracha. There's two different Kiddush. Well, there are many different ones, many variations. But there's one that we do on Friday night, and one we do Saturday at lunch. Okay, so the one we're going to do now is the one that we do Saturday at lunch.
Okay.
You may do it in shul. Hopefully, if you have one of the, I don't have it available. I would suggest that next week we're going to do the Haggadah, so it doesn't really matter. But I suggest that for this class, and it said it in the original email, to have Sim Shalom or Lev Shalom. Okay, yes, Joyce.
So quick question. So when I look at 746 and 747, it's Kiddush for festival morning. Is that because tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh?
No, we don't want to do, we're not doing that. 747 in Sim Shalom, it should not be, it should say, maybe I'm on the wrong page. Let me see. Daytime Kiddush. 740, it shouldn't be in 747.
Well, I have that crazy
it's
book.
734. It's 734. I don't know why I said 747.
All right.
I wrote down 747. I don't know why. It's 734. Sorry, in the complete Sim Shalom.
Not a problem.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I said there are variations, but we're going to do the Shabbat one because that's the one we do the most often. And once you know that, it helps for you doing any of the other ones, any of the other morning Kiddushes as well. Okay. Okay. Now, Celia wanted to read. So I'm going to get you, Celia, right now. Oh, let me read. I'm going to read first, Celia, and then I'll let you read. Okay. Is that okay? Okay. I'm not going to sing it. We do sing this, obviously, normally. The Shamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat L'Dorotam, Brit Olam. Beini uvein B'nei Yisrael oti Le'olam, Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai et HaShamayim Ve'et HaAretz, Vayom HaShvi'i Shabbat Vayinapash. Okay. I'm going to let Celia read it, then we're going to talk about it just for a couple of minutes. Celia.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, la'dorotam, barit olam, b'nei ovan, b'nei Yisrael et he le'olam,
V'shashit yimim
Deshet,
sheshet yimim asa Adonai et hashamim
Shemayim, the
Shemayim.
heavens,
Two dots. Va'et haaretz
yes, good,
yom hashvi'i shavat v'yin fash.
good, perfect, great, okay. And I hope that you recognize some of these words, or at least the form, it sounds like something. Vishamru, if you've ever heard of people talking about their Shomer Shabbat, they guard or keep the Shabbat, or Shomer Kashrut, it's from the same word, but it's a plural, we. Okay, it's the people, Bnei Yisrael, the people of Israel guard the Shabbat. La'asot is to make et HaShabbat. We guard it. That's what they say. One of the reasons we have two candles is it talks in two different places in the Torah. One says guard and one says make. So we have two candles for that. Also, it's very different to talk about just guarding or talk about making it. Making is something very active. And one of the ways we can make Shabbat is to have a festive meal, to use a special tablecloth, to take, dress in a special way. So that all of that is actually making Shabbat. There's a rabbi who is sometimes a little annoying, but he every time he talks to Barry, he says, "I'm not going to say have a great day. I'm going to say make a great day. Make it a great day." Because then you're active and you're actually doing something about it. And this is actually the same feeling as making Shabbat. Okay. Brit Olam. Do we know about any other Brit?
Yes, circumcision.
Great.
That would be covered.
Exactly. Brit Milah. Okay, that's the circumcision. Okay, there was a Brit when Noah, that he's never going to destroy the world. God will never destroy the world again by water. Beini uvein b'nei Israel. It's the children and the children and the children's of Israel. It's us. It should be, the Shabbat is an oath. It's a sign. Okay, just having Shabbat is a sign between God and man. Sheshet. Does anybody see, if you take away the last letter, does it look like something?
That's number 6.
Great, exactly. That's Sheshet. The reason it's Sheshet is it's because it's modified. Okay, it modifies Yamim, which is days. Sheshet Yamim. What? 1 second. What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry. You have to at least say hello. If you're gonna interrupt, you have to say hello, and then I'll let you go. Here, S. I want to show your gorgeous face. Hello. Now you can go. Okay. Okay. So okay. I mean, Asa Adonai et Shemayim. That's why I said when read it, when we're sounding, sometimes we lose what the word is. Shemayim is heavens, and Va'aretz. What's that?
The earth.
Earth.
Exactly. Great. And Uvayom Hashvi'i is
6th day.
good. The 7th day. And what is the 7th day?
Shabbat.
But okay, and you shall be refreshed. It says rested, but it's something more than that. It comes from the nefesh, from the soul, that you should be refreshed, is how they translate it in one of these books. So it's not just like stopping, but okay. So now, perfect. I'm going to read the next paragraph. Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadsho. Sheshet Yamim ta'avod va'asita kol malachto. Techa. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat ladonai Elohecha. Lo ta'aseh kol malacha. Ata uvincha uvitecha. Avdecha v'amattecha it's hard when you're trying to send it in. Uv hem techa v'gercha. Oh, gercha. Asher bish recha. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz et hayam et kol asher bam. Vayanach vayom hashvi'i. Al kain berach Adonai et yom hashabbat v'yakadshehu. Okay. Anybody want to start? You don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want. You can read just part. Okay, Linda, I think I see a volunteer.
Which,
That- Linda, the other Linda, do you want to do
Oh,
it?
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
can
I'm
do
sorry.
it. You can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Zahor et Yom HaShabbat Likadisho Sheshet Yamim Ta'avod Va'aseta Kol.
Sita. That's really a sita. We talked about that last week.
Right.
Particularly, you have the
The
yud,
as-
so we know for sure it's the east, the long e sound.
Right.
Good.
Vayasita Kol Malachotecha Vayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Ladonai El Hayah. Lo
No, read it again. No. Adonai, read the next word after Adonai.
Adonai Elohecha.
Good.
Lo ta'aseh kol malacha. Ata uvinecha.
Uvincha.
Uvinecha. Uvitecha. Boy, did I choose a hard one.
I know. But I thought you could rise to it. I know you can, Linda. It is not easy. Yes. You heard me stumble a little bit, so it's okay.
Avdecha
Abdecha.
ve'amtecha uvchem techa.
But
The-
remember, I just want to check that. Remember, we talked about the metek. The emphasis is on the next to the last syllable. Uvhem techa. Okay,
uvchem.
you see it? Okay.
Right.
remember.
Okay.
Okay.
Uvchem techa. The gercha asher bisharecha. Et hayom ve'et
No. I
kol.
think you're right.
I
Okay,
skipped a
no,
line.
your eye went down.
Right. Ki sheshet yamim
Good.
asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz et hayom ve'et kol asher bam v'yana hayom hashvi'i.
You might as well read the last line.
Al kain be'rak Adonai et yom hashabbat v'yikadshehu.
Good, perfect. Okay, so you can sort of cheat and look at the English, but a lot of these words you'll know. We know Zachor for sure. Zachor is remember. It's from the word. It's a form of the word. Yom we know is day. Shabbat day is to be holy. It's the kadosh. You see it again. Kadsho. It's from kadosh. Okay. Sheshet yamim. Again, it's modified. It's 6 days. Okay, 6 days you shall make or work. Asa is make, okay? Kol malachecha, your work, okay? Just as an aside, when you talk about malacha, that's special. It's work to earn a living. It's work. It's not hard work in the fact that like you can carry a chair up and down your stairs 15 times on Shabbat if you want, but you can't sew, or there are certain things that they actually call our malacha, and changing things, changing the world a little bit. We can say interfering with the world. We try not to do that on Shabbat. Okay, so you do all but it doesn't just say rest on Shabbat. It says you're supposed to work on the other 6 days. Okay, And so that, just so you recognize some of the words, again, we have Shemayim, we have Aretz. We have that not only you are not supposed to do any work, but your son isn't supposed to do any work. Your daughter is not supposed to do any work. And it goes to male and female servant, your cattle and the stranger. The ger is stranger. We know that's a word we're somewhat familiar with. So everybody is supposed to stop on the seventh day and refresh themselves. Okay, now the next line. This is the one we know. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Okay, that's just the basic thing that we say for fruit of the vine, which it could either be grape juice or wine. Both come from the vine. Now we're not going to do the blessing for Sukkah because we're not going to be in a Sukkah. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so that's Shabbat morning. And you can, there are different tunes that schlep it out a little bit more in the beginning parts. But that's the basic Kiddush. Okay, now we're gonna do the nighttime Kiddush. The Friday night we would do it. It's page 726.
I have a question on the
Sure. Any
washing,
questions about that one? Yeah, sure. Sorry.
washing the ritual of washing the hands, because they do that before the the Kiddush time. So how, like a lot of times they use two sides, like they wash one hand, the other. Is there a special thing? Like, I'm not sure what exactly.
Yes, okay, first of all, on Shabbat, we do the Kiddush first. And then after the Kiddush, we do motzi. But part of the motzi ritual, the eating the bread, is washing your hands ritually first. Your hands should be clean before you start this procedure. You're not using soap, you're just using water, and it's ritual, it's not really for cleanliness. And yes, you're supposed to have the hand washer is not supposed to have a lip. And it usually has two handles. And you put on one hand and then on the other hand, and some people do it twice on each hand. Some people do it 3 times on each hand. And you're supposed to get not just the fingertips, you're supposed to get the whole hand. And if you notice, some people will not talk in between the time when they wash and the time they make motzi. And the reason is because it's all connected. The only reason that you're washing is because you're doing the motzi. Okay. So it's connected so that you don't want to break the connection, so you don't talk in between. Another thing is we usually cover the challah when we do the Kiddush. We have the challah covered because we don't want to embarrass the challah, because we're paying attention to the wine and we're not paying attention to it, so we cover it up so it doesn't know that we're not paying attention to it.
And then the salt, while you're at it, and then they put salt on it?
Yes, salt. Okay, salt. Yeah. Does anybody else want to jump in, or I can tell? Does anybody else want to jump in?
Why are there 2?
Okay, so I'll get to 2 first. First, we'll do we don't have a temple anymore. Obviously, at some point we had a temple. We find out about that when we read the Torah. We don't have a temple anymore. So the table actually becomes like a temple in a way. So the challah is part instead of the sacrifice, and they used to salt the sacrifice. So that's why we put salt on the challah. The reason we have 2 chalot is because
Saturday, Friday night, we got 2 portions.
Temples.
No, not 2 temples. The rate, I think Analia said it,
It's
because
the 2 portions of manna that in the wilderness.
2 portions of manna, exactly. We had 2 portions of manna on Friday because we weren't allowed to gather on Saturday. So that's the reason you have 2 challah. But the only thing I will say, and this is very heretical, I understand why we have 2 on Friday, but I'm not exactly sure why we still have 2 on Saturday. But we won't say anything. We do have the normal portion is to have 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. Yes, and normally any bread works, but on Shabbat we use chalot and we do 2 chalot. Good. Any other questions about Kiddush?
I have one about the
Susan.
salt.
Yeah, do all of you do salt in your homes? Because I had never seen that till I moved to France with my North African friends, and I had never experienced that, so I thought it was North
Interesting.
African.
No,
No, it's really not. It's very, but sometimes we don't use salt. We use something else. Anybody else?
So
Anybody?
honey for Rosh
Honey.
Hashanah.
When do we use honey, Faye?
Rosh Hashanah.
That's exactly. And we use honey from the beginning of Rosh Hashanah through Sukkot.
Oh,
And there's another time if you like honey, because I like honey better than salt. If you're with a newlywed couple and they can actually do it for their first year, you know, we talk about newlyweds being the whole year. You can also use honey then too. So if you like honey, find a newlywed. And you can use honey. Any other questions?
so the salt
Okay.
represents what? Sadness?
No, it's not sadness. It's a memory of the temple and the sacrifice in the temple.
Oh.
We don't have a temple. We don't want a temple back again because I don't want all that blood and guts. But we do have to remember that time period. Yes, Analia.
I had friends, Sephardic friends, and so he would take the two chalot, or he had actually two small braided chalot, and he held them together.
Yes,
And he would
you're
make-
supposed to do that because it's like it's one. You're supposed to hold it together. And what you see, sometimes you'll see people not only hold it together, but when they go to cut it, they'll make like a line, or not even a cut, but like go over both of them. It's just, that's part of the whole ceremony of it all.
But then.
And then you have to get, and now one more thing, you have to get into whether you do cut or do you tear.
Tear.
So
That's
I agree with you. Ellen.
very interesting.
If you have two challahs, but then you put it together, what's the significance of that? If you're
I
making
guess
it
it's
together
because
when you
it's
want
just to
two.
remember that we had the two, you know, run. It's not just two separate things, that it's a remembrance of that we had the two together.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be teaching reading. Okay. We're going to go to Kiddush on Friday night. It's on 7/26 in the full Sim Shalom. It's on, I have it somewhere here. I had another paper.
312.
Okay, 312. Okay, yes. I
where is
do.
it on the
Okay,
list?
312 on the thinner, the Slim Shalom, and 76 in Lev Shalem. And some people do Kiddush at shul. You also, if you are making a Kiddush, if you're eating lunch in shul and that's your lunch, fine. If you're making a Shabbos lunch, even if it was done at shul, ideally you do it again where you're having your meal. If you have a meal at home, just as information. Okay.
Can you tell me where it is in my big Sim Shalom? I don't see it.
Yes, 726
726.
in the full Sim Shalom. It should be on 726.
Shabbat evening, yes. Okay, thank you.
Correct. Everybody else got it? And that should be in your book, Susan.
It is.
You
I
should
have it,
definitely,
yes.
okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay. Vayehi Erev Vayehi Voker. Some people say that, some people don't. It's like an introduction. And it says, when do we ever hear that? Did anybody remember where we hear that? Vayehi Erev Vayehi Voker. I'll give you a hint. It's in the Torah.
Oh, creation.
Breshit.
All kavod. Exactly right. And when they're talking about each day, it was evening and it was morning. And they say that's why we actually start our days at night instead of in the morning. Okay. Vayi erev vayi voker. Yom hashishi. Vayichulu hashamayim v'haaretz. B'chol tzva'am. Vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi'i malachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol malachto asher asa. Vayavarech Elohim at yom hashvi'i vayakadesh oto. Kivo shavat mikol malachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Okay, so a lot of the same words that we read in the other one are in here too. You could read it not all exactly the same way, but it's the same words. And just one more piece of information. The last words where it says Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Only God baraz. Bara is creation from nothing. We make, which is oseh, but only God baraz. Okay. And that's so it's actually when it says bara Elohim la'asot, it's talking about creation. We're talking about creation. Okay. Do I have a volunteer?
Can do that.
Beth and then Faye.
Okay. Oh,
Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Boker, Yom Hashishi. Vayechulu Hashamayim, V'ha'aretz, V'chol Tziva'am. Vayechal Elohim, Vayom Hashvi'i, Milachto Asher Asa. Vayishbot Vayom Hashvi'i. Mikol Milachto Asher Asa. Vayevarech Elohim et Yom Hashvi'i. Vayikadesh Oto. Kivo Shabbat Michol Milachto Asher Bara Elohim La'asot.
Great. Okay. Now we're going to continue. It says Savri Maranan. Some people say that, and then after somebody says that, does anybody know when you say that? Does anybody say that? And then we usually, the people around say L'chaim. Okay, this is what another time we ask that we do that is before during Birkat Hamazon, before the beginning. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Pri Hagafen. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'ratzavanu. Shabbat Kodsho Ba'ahava Uvratzon Hinchilanu. Zikaron L'Maaseh V'Reshit. Ki hu Yom Techila L'Mikra E Kodesh Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu Bacharta Be'otanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim. B'Shabbat Kodshecha Ba'ava Uvratzon Hinchalanu. Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Okay. Yes, Arlene.
Are we reading? This might be.
Yes, we're reading, but first I'm going to have Faye volunteered, and then you can go, Arlene. If she doesn't do all of it, or you'll do the next one. Faye?
okay. Sabri Marana, Varabanan,
No. It said that, but should be Baruch.
Oh, okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidashnu b'mitz.
You know, you're obviously very familiar with it. So, and it's a little harder when you're reading than when you're singing, but you have to look at it.
Okay.
Kidashanu. Okay.
Okay. Kidishanu. Kidshanu, or right? Okay. B'mitzvotav.
I'm not sure. There isn't a vowel underneath it, but I know that it's a vav and an o. It usually isn't, but when it talks about mitzvot, it's b'mitzvotav. I'm not sure exactly why. I have to ask my husband about that because it looks like it should be mitzvotav, but it's you still have the space out. Okay, good.
B'mitzvotav v'ratzah vanu. V'Shabbat Kodsho Ba'ahava Uvratzon Hinchilanu.
Good.
Zicharon L'Maaseh Bereshit. Ki hu Yom Techila L'Mikra'e Kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta ve'ovtanu kacheta. Kitcha. Okay. Kidashta. Kidashta mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodshecha b'hava uratzon hinchal tanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Great. Okay, great.
I have a
A
question.
lot of times, yes, Joyce.
Okay, up in the very beginning, Asher Kid Shana, there's a dot by the dalet inside. Is that why you mentioned the sound after the shva, or is it just Kid Shanu? Is it Kid Shanu or Kid Shanu?
This is our tricky part when we know when those two dots have a sound or don't, and it has to do whether it's a long vowel following it or it's following a long vowel or a short vowel, or it's the first letter or it's the last letter. I'm looking to see. I think it attaches when it's a long vowel. It's Kidshanu.
And plus you have the dot in the kuf, so you have to have a little D sound on both sides.
Yes, it does. You're right. It's actually both. The dot means it's for the first syllable and the second syllable, actually. But how do you say it? That's the tricky part. Okay, so a lot of
Kid. Is that
Kidshanu? I think it's Kidshanu.
Like
That sounds right to me. Okay, and we talk about a lot of our prayers. We talk about thanking God for creation and for taking us out of Egypt, which is in this as well. Okay,
I am
good.
right.
All right, so we're done that. Now we're going to see if we get. I didn't think we're going. Okay, now we're going to get to the prayer for the new month, because we're going to be saying it tomorrow in shul. My guess is that part of it is going to be sung to one of the prayers from, or one of the songs from the Haggadah in your shul, if you happen to be there or if you happen to be listening, because that's generally what most cantors do, or Shalek Tzibor. Okay, we're on page 418 in the full Sim Shalom, 150 in the Slim Shalom and 180 in the Lev Shalom. I'm gonna read, and then who said they were gonna read? I forgot. I wrote it down. It was after Faye was that's Arlene. I knew it was Arlene. Okay. Yehi Ratzon Milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Shetichadesh Aleinu Et HaChodesh Haba V'Tova V'Livracha V'Titen Lanu Chaim Arukim, Chaim Shel Shalom, Chaim Shel Tova, Chaim Shel Bracha, Chaim Shel Parnasah, Chaim Shel Hilutz Atzamot, Chaim Sheyesh Bahem Yirat Shamayim, the Yirat Chaim She'ein Bahem Bashu V'Uchlima. It's not something I usually say, any of this. Chaim Shel Osher V'Chavod. Chaim Shetihiyeh Vanu Ahavat Torat V'Yirat Shamayim. Chaim Sheyimalu Mishalot Libenu L'Tova Amen Zelah. All of this is what we're asking for in the new month. Okay, you can look at the English if you want, but some of the words you'll know. Obviously, Tova, we want a life of goodness, a life of peace, please God, a life of bracha, blessings. Parnasah, I don't know if you ever heard of it in Yiddish. Sometimes I talk about parnasa. That's like income, sustenance, I think they call it. Okay, so that's all the things we're asking for this new month. And I have somebody that is going to read, please. Arlene, and then
Yeah,
Ellen.
this is really new to me, okay?
Well, it is new, and the thing is, the part is, and you said, all right, I stumbled also. This is, somebody requested it. This is not something that we as a congregation sing. It's something that the Shalachli Bor sings. But part of it is learning the words that can be in any prayer. We're not just learning the prayers, we're really trying to be more fluent in our Hebrew. So we take what we learn here and put it with other prayers as well. So yes, I don't expect you to be fluent in this because it's not a prayer that you usually say, but you can handle it. I mean,
Okay. Yehi ratzon mil panecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu.
good,
Shet hadesh aleinu
good.
et ha-chodesh.
Okay, stop. 1 minute. I want you to know that what we're doing a prayer for the new month. It's Chodesh, et ha-chodesh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ha-chodesh.
good.
Ha-seh.
Haba, et ha-chodesh haba, that come, that the month that's coming. Like when you call people in Hebrew, you say bo.
L'tova,
Okay,
yeah. Hazeh l'tova.
good,
V'liv racha.
exactly.
V'titain lanu hayim. Rahim hayim. Rahim hayim el shalom.
Good,
Hayim shel tova. Hayim shel beracha. Hayim shel parnasa. Hayim shel root.
yes, not a word you hear often. Yes,
Samot.
good.
Hayi shel
Sheyesh,
yesh bahem yirat
good,
shamayim v'yirat hate.
good.
Hayim shel
No,
hayim she'ain
good,
bahem busha
good,
Uchlima hayim shel osher
good.
v'avod hayim
Bechavod. Do you ever hear about people talk about kavod? Okay, bechavod. Yeah,
hayim shel shet he
shetehei.
shet he banu ahava Torah v'yirat shamayim hayim shel ma'u
Good, perfect.
mish lot libenu
Good.
litova amen selah.
Amen. What's the last word?
Selah.
Stella. Good. It's like
Stella.
it's an emphasis. Amen. Stella. It should be. Amen. So that's an emphasis on the
Stella.
amen. Good.
Amen.
Fabulous.
And I think I need new glasses. It's so hard to read.
I know I decided what we could all use actually is a big Princey door. That might help a
All
little
right.
bit.
I didn't think I was going to get through that, but thank you. I hope thank you for everybody for being so patient with me.
No, it was perfect. And and I also want to impress that I was impressed. You started reading it a little bit like you know what you're reading. We're talking about Chaim of this, the life of this, and it wasn't just sending out the words. It was actually reading it. I heard it in your reading, and very impressive. And it feels
Thank you.
feels
Well,
good.
you've been my teacher, Judy. You've been my teacher.
But you could feel the difference, no?
Yes, I really understood that. I felt like but you had done it first, and then you explained what it was all about, and then I got the gist of it after that.
Good.
Yes.
And the other thing, I just want to do one more explanation thing. I want to just make sure we say Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu. It's an important concept. Adonai is Lord, or the Yud Hey Vav Hey is the actual name of God that we don't know how to pronounce. Eloheinu, our God. We talked about the new is first person plural. Elohei Avotenu. Elohei is the possessive form, so it's not Elohim or Eloheinu. It's Elohei. It makes it possessive. Avotenu. Anybody know what Avotenu is?
Father?
I can't hear you. It could be fathers, it could be our fathers, but it really means our ancestors. It means we're talking about the really the matriarchs and the patriarchs, what usually when we say Avotenu. And sometimes in some of the prayer books, the new ones, sometimes where it says Avotenu, they put in also Imotenu, which is our mothers, Abba and Ima. And we're usually talking about the foremothers and forefathers. Okay, so it's the Lord, our God, and it's also not just our God, but it's the God of our ancestors. And we all in each way, it's a little different feeling towards this being when you talk about it in those different forms. It's the same being, but it's a different attitude. Okay, so now the person that's usually the person that's leading will take the Torah. Sometimes if they can't, it's too much for them. Somebody will stand next to them with the Torah. Depends on your shul. So we continue and we say, Mi she'asa nisim lavotenu v'ga'al otam me'avdut l'cheirut hu yagel. Excuse me, Yigal, I need new glasses too. Yigal otanu v'karov v'yikabetz nidachenu me'arba kanfot ha'aretz. Chavirim kol Yisrael v'nomar amen. Okay, arba kanfot. Anybody know what that is?
Four.
Yes, the four corners of the earth. Okay, v'arba kanfot ha'aretz. There's another four corners that we read about in the Shema. It's also the same thing. That's right. It's the same phrase, and that's when we usually take when it says the four corners of the earth during the Shema, that paragraph. We take the four corners of a talit if we're wearing a talit and hold them together. And then later in the Shema we kiss them. Okay, because then we usually gather them at that point because the Hebrew says gathering from the four corners of the earth. Okay, so who do I have that's going to read? Oh, just one more thing. We talked about yirah or yirat in the paragraph before. That's either sometimes it'll be translated as fear, sometimes awe. But if you think about it in English, awe is a little fearsome when you talk about it. So it's the combination of that, and that's our one of our also feelings towards God. Okay, so who's going to read? Misha Asa, Celia. And then Cindy, you're going to read after. Celia.
Mouse was upside down.
It's a problem.
Mi sha'a sa ni sim la avotenu.
Good.
Ga'al otam mi avdot la le ha dot.
Root. It's a resh.
Root. Oh, root. La ha
Right.
root.
Good.
Hu yig al gal utanu be karov ve yig bates. Nada hanu. Nida hanu. Mi ba Confort haaretz ha-varim kol Yisrael ve'nomar amen.
Good. Chavirim kol Yisrael. That's we talk about chavirim or friends or colleagues or whatever. Okay. Toward the fellowship, it calls the people of it, the all of Israel. All, remember, is all. Good. Where else do we talk? Nisim.
Shehan Nisim, isn't it?
Where do we talk about that miracles?
Pesach.
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Good. See, we're going
right.
backwards here.
Exactly. Right?
Gadol haya sham. Same word. Okay, so just so you know, when you're reading these words, it's not just words. And lavotenu is again from what we read above. Remember, we talked about Elohei avotenu, same word of our ancestors. Okay, good.
Judy.
Question. Okay, sure.
It's not in just what was read, but a little while ago, and it's a question I've always wondered. What's the difference? Sometimes they say boker, which means morning, but in some prayers it'll say haboker, blah blah blah, ve havoker with a V. Does that mean?
It has to do with grammar. What is following? It's all grammar. The difference between the bet and the vet is grammar. It's the same letter.
Yeah.
It's only grammar. The grammatical form because
does
of the vowels.
Boker mean morning also?
Same exact thing. Same exact word.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I've always wondered.
Yeah. Whenever you see the bet or the vet, it's the same letter. So it will be the same meaning. It just has it's exactly the same letter. Okay. As far as good. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Good. Good. That's what we all learn together. Okay. Now I'm gonna have Cindy read in a minute, but Rosh Chodesh, and you have to decide what Rosh Chodesh it is. We'll say Adar Bet, because it's the second Adar. Yehiyeh B'Yom Shishi, I think. It's only Friday. Sometimes it's one day, sometimes it's 2 days, and you'll say it if it's 2 days, but I think it's only one day. So it's Rosh Chodesh Adar Yehiyeh B'Yom Shishi Haba Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael L'Tova. Okay. Yechadshenu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu V'al Kol Amo Beit Yisrael L'Chaim U'Shalom, and everybody says Amen. L'Sason U'L'Simcha Amen. L'Shua U'Nechama Amen. You say then Vinomar Amen, and we say Amen.
Amen.
And let us say rather. Okay, so that now we're up to Celia. Me, we start with Celia.
Unmute.
I think.
Where are we?
No, or did you just read the me? We go up to Rosh, I guess. Rosh, we're up to Rosh. Yeah, we're up to Rosh. I got it. And you can leave. You can read the blanks, or you can just leave about whatever you feel good about.
Rodosh, Hadesh, Ye, yeah.
Good.
Ayom Haba. Aleinu Val Kol Yisrael Le'Tova.
Good.
You want me to keep going? Oh.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Had Shahu.
Good.
Hadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu Val Kol Amo Bat Yisrael, Beit Yisrael, La Hayim Ol Shalom, Amen.
Right.
Le Sa Son Ul Sim Ha, Amen.
Amen.
Le Shoah
Good, perfect.
Ul Nahama Venomar, Amen.
Perfect, great. Okay, so if you're in shul tomorrow, you got it. Yes, Cindy.
So, right after the line where you put in the month, is it Yehiya or
Yeah.
Yehiya? So you say
Yeah.
that.
It's a little hard to say, yeah.
Okay.
When they ask who God is, he says, Yehiyev, it's three, it's the I am and I am. It's the am form. Yeah. Good. It should be for the okay. Yeah. It looks almost like Adonai, and I think somebody along the way has said it as Adonai because the vav was, if the yud was a little longer, but it's yeah. Good. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, sorry.
Good. Okay. Any questions, comments, criticisms? Okay. So, all right. So we have, what time is it? 5:50. We have enough time. Okay. Havdalah, we're just going to look at, we may not got through the whole thing. It's in the full Sim Shalom. It's on page 700. And the thinner, the Sim Shalom, and the Slim Shalom, it's 299 and 283 in Lev Shalem. Okay. Havdalah. Okay, we do Havdalah at the conclusion of any festival as well as Shabbat. Some festivals we have a candle, some we don't. It depends on the festival. We're not going to deal with that, but we're going to read it. Okay, and this first paragraph is also usually said by the person that's leading. I'm not going to. Some of you may have heard this with the Debbie Friedman tune, which is also very nice. We're just going to read it though. Hine el Yeshuati evtach v'lo evchad ki ozi v'zimrat ya Adonai v'yehi li lishua sorry ushavtem mayim v'sason mima'anei hayeshua l'Adonai hayeshua al amcha v'irchatecha sela Adonai tzvaot imanu mishgav lanu Elohei Yaakov sela Adonai tzvaot ashrei adam boteach bach Adonai Hoshia Hamela Ya'anenu B'yom Karenu. Okay, B'yom Korenu. I guess it is Korenu. Okay. Anybody want to read? Be brave. This is again something we don't read on a regular basis, but it's Hebrew and it's the words, some of the words the same that we read in the verse. Yes, Cindy.
Hine all Yeshua.
L. Sorry, it's the dots again.
Right. All.
Yeah.
Yeshua T.
Good.
Evtach.
Yes.
Below. Efchad. Ki. Oz. Bezim Rat.
Yes.
Ya Adonai.
Good.
Vayihi Li.
Good.
Li Shuat. No, Li Shuah.
Good. Yes, exactly.
Ush of Tem Mayim Bisa Zone.
Good.
Mima'a Ne,
Good.
Hashua, La Adonai, Hasua, Al, Amcha, Virkatecha,
Good.
Selah, Adonai, Siva, Ot,
Good.
Linu, Gav, Lanu, Elohe, Yaakov, Selah.
Good.
Adonai, Siva, Ot,
Sivaot.
Sivaot,
Good.
Ashrei, Adam,
Good.
Boteach,
Good.
Bach, Adonai, Hosea, Hosea,
She. It's an S. Shin.
Shea, Hamelach, Neinu,
Good.
the Yom,
Good.
Enu.
Korenu. It's the same thing with the dot and
Yeah,
nation
I'm
and
using my
dot. I don't know
magnifying
why they
glass.
made them look so. Yeah, I don't know why they made them look so similar. They really are very
I
similar.
have a question.
Sure.
On Oshrey, at least in my book, I have the Sim Shalom.
Yeah.
There's no dot over the shin. Is there a reason for that?
Let me see. Let me look and see if let me find it. Musaf for Shabbat festival. Oh, it's before Musaf.
Page 299. Next to the last line. Third
What
word.
page are we on? Which page?
299.
299 in the Slim Shalom?
Slim, yeah, slim, the small one.
299?
Yep.
No, this one.
The blue book.
Well, there's two blue books. One is thinner. One has the whole service, and one one has all.
The small one is $2.99.
$2.99. Okay, here I am. $2.99. Okay.
Next
Mine's Havdalah. No, where she's doing Ashrei, not Havdalah. You right? You're asking about Ashrei? Oh, in the word. Oh, in the word.
Ashrei has no dot over, so you don't know if it's a shin or a sin.
There has to be a dot. Chuck, and what? Where? Tell me, issue. Where in the prayer is it? I'm lost.
Okay, next to the last line of what I read.
Okay.
Third word over.
Okay. Third. Oh, Ashrei. Oh yeah, you're right. There is no dot. Why isn't there a dot?
I don't
know. I think it's a typo because I have it in my big Sim Shalom. It's in mine.
Okay.
So it might have been a typo.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a dot.
I have a dot.
My book.
There's no dot.
Okay, so it's a typo.
Okay.
That answers your question. No big reasoning.
Okay. Thank you.
We thought there might be some big reasoning, but there is not actually.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. That's very funny, actually. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. Okay. All right, we're still in Havdalah. Okay, it's 11:01. Then we're not going to do the brachot. We will get to them another time. They're basically, we know most of it. We know, but we do Borei Pri Agafim, which is the wine. Then we do Borei Pri the Samim, which is, but first we do Shkos, but whatever. The Samim are the spices, and then Borei Morei Ha'esh, which is the candle, the light. Okay, and then there's more, but I don't want to finish. I want to finish because it's 11:01, and I don't leave. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joyce. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy.
Have a wonderful birthday.
Have a great day.
I hope you have a great day. And we also have to wish
Shalom.
Arlene a happy birthday because hers is on Monday.
Happy
birthday.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom,
So wish
everyone.
both of you a happy birthday.
Bye.
We wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Next week we're going to start the Haggadah. If anybody has, I will send out the page numbers. We'll pick the things that we do frequently. Obviously, the things we read. We don't, in my house, I don't know about your house, we don't read every page. But if there's anything specific or any questions or specific prayers you want to do or songs, we'll get to them also, hopefully, but not next week. Linda, mute yourself, please. I can mute her. 1 minute. Okay. 1 moment. Okay, she's muted. Okay, so next week we'll start with the Haggadah.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions, comments, criticisms?
I have one question. Why do we sing Eliyahu on Havdalah, but it's a Pesach song, or is it bigger than that?
We talk about Eliyahu on Pesach, but we actually talk about Eliyahu a lot. We talk, if there are any questions, and one of the reasons we talk about Elijah on Pesach, and we can get to that, I'm going to just 1 minute, is because if we have any questions, we say when Elijah comes back, because he never died actually. So when he goes back, he's going to answer all the questions. So the one for Passover is we're not sure how many glasses, whether we should have 4 or 5. And we'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about it now because it's too late. But so Elijah is part of our general life in Judaism. They also say if you've ever been to a bris, sometimes they have a seat of Elijah. Kisei shel Elijah. They say Elijah goes to all brises. So anyway, so he's a big part actually. So and we bring him in on Shabbos night. We'll talk about it more. Okay, thank you very much to everyone that's here. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat